Chapter 15 The Four Musketeers Paris was celebrating the great victory at La Rochelle when D'Artagnan and the Three Musketeers entered the city. As they approached the gates of the palace, they were stopped by a force of the cardinal's guards. "Monsieur d'Artagnan," said the leader, "in the name of his Eminence, I arrest you. We have orders to bring you to the cardinal immediately." "Do not fear, my friend," said Athos. "We shall accompany you to Richelieu." The guards led D'Artagnan into the cardinal's study, but stopped his three friends at the door. "We shall wait for you, D'Artagnan," said Athos, loud enough for the cardinal to hear. D'Artagnan stood facing the cardinal across a long table. This was his first meeting with Richelieu, and he feared his last. "Monsieur," said the cardinal, "I had hoped one day to hold out my hand in friendship and in praise of your bravery, but I cannot do so now, for you are charged with the murder of a trusted servant of France." "That woman was guilty of many crimes," said D'Artagnan, "including murder, not once, but many times over. I only repaid her with a like crime." "So you did. And Rochefort, too. That was quite an accomplishment for a young Gascon. But your victories are too costly, sir, both for me and for France. You shall have to pay for your crimes with your life." "I think not, monseigneur," said D'Artagnan with a smile, "for I have a proper warrant for all that I have done." "A warrant?" asked Richelieu in surprise. "Signed by whom?" "By your Eminence," said D'Artagnan, as he held out the paper which Athos had taken from Milady at the Red Dove Inn. Richelieu took the paper and read: "It is by my order and for the good of France that the bearer of this letter has done what he has done. 3 September 1627. Richelieu." After he had finished reading, Richelieu sat in deep thought for several minutes, twisting and untwisting the paper in his hands. Then he looked up and smiled. "One should be more careful of what one puts on paper," he said, tearing the warrant to bits. Then he picked up his pen and began writing on a large sheet of parchment. "I am lost!" thought D'Artagnan. "He is writing my death order. But I shall die bravely." "Here, sir," said the cardinal, handing the parchment to D'Artagnan. "Why, it's a commission as a lieutenant of the king's Musketeers!" he cried. "Yes, monsieur," said the cardinal. "Simply fill in your name." "Oh, monseigneur!" cried D'Artagnan, falling to his knees. "I do not deserve such a commission. Serving as a private in the Musketeers would be reward enough for me. I have three friends who are much more worthy of a lieutenant's commission than I am." "Well, do what you like with it, sir. But remember, it is to you that I give it. Now good day, Monsieur d'Artagnan." D'Artagnan left the room in a daze. "Are you all right, my friend?" cried Athos, as D'Artagnan stumbled through the doorway. "Yes," stammered D'Artagnan. "Look, Athos, the cardinal gave me this commission, but I can't take it. It should go to you." Athos smiled warmly and replied, "My dear friend, this commission is far too much for a common soldier like Athos, and far too little for the Count de la Fère. You have earned it. You keep it." D'Artagnan pushed the parchment at Porthos. "And you, my friend," he said, "just think how splendid you will look in the lieutenant's uniform." "My dear friend," said Porthos, handing the commission back to D'Artagnan, "I shall soon be wearing the clothing of a nobleman, for my dear Duchess has just come into a sizable sum of money. She has been waiting for me for years, and now I shall marry her and take care of her, and the money. So keep the lieutenancy. It is not something for a nobleman." "You!" cried D'Artagnan, pushing the commission at Aramis. "You are a man of education, of wisdom. You are far more worthy of this lieutenancy than I am." "My dear friend," said Aramis, "you forget that I am a musketeer only temporarily. I still plan to join the priesthood when I have the time. No, keep the commission. You will make a brave and daring lieutenant." "But my friends!" cried D'Artagnan. "If I accept this commission and become an officer, I shall lose all my friends. An officer does not have friends." "Never fear," said Athos, as he wrote D'Artagnan's name on the blank line of the parchment. "Even though we are now the Four Musketeers, we shall always be one for all, and all for one." "Yes!" they shouted together, crossing their four hands. "One for all, and all for one." And that is the end. of the Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. Understandably, one of the great classics. I quite enjoyed that. And I hope you guys did too. So thank you so much for listening to Saul's audiobooks in reading The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas.